Well, during Nicolas Maduro's time in power, Venezuela's economy effectively collapsed under the weight of hyperinflation, chronic shortages, and even human rights abuses. Maduro's tenure also saw millions leave the country. So how did it get to that stage? And will things change now that Maduro has been deposed? Joining me now is Santiago Vidal Calvo, a Venezuelan living in Texas and is the Cities Policy Analyst at the Manhattan Institute. Santiago, welcome to the program and really appreciate you getting up really early where you are. Can you just tell us a bit about your personal story and when and why did you leave Venezuela?
Hey, Girish, thank you for the invitation. I left Venezuela in 2021 after living there for 19 years. And I came here to the United States because I got a really good scholarship at a university. And I went to study in New York City and I did my undergraduate there. Then things kind of went in, the same route. And I ended up doing my graduate degree here too in Washington, D.C. at Georgetown. And finally, I came here to Texas to do my PhD. And over the same time, I've been working with the Manhattan Institute where I currently work. And I do research on policy items of the United States like public health, crime, safety, immigration, and other things.
Yes, and of course, from where you are standing, you would have observed how Venezuela's economy faced so much difficulties. Effectively, most analysts say it's collapsed. What is it about Maduro's rule that led to that situation?
Well, we're talking here about a country that over 27 years, they had every single socialist policy implemented because they wanted to recreate what they called the revival of socialism or 21st century socialism. That means that the government took control of the means of production and took control of people's businesses. And there are literal videos of Chavez going through the streets and saying to businesses, hey, we're going to expropriate you. Take that business is now from the government. And what happened was that after a big nationalization period, many people lost their jobs and they lost their businesses. And the country completely collapsed because they started printing money to afford every single one of the social programs that they created. And they found that they didn't have enough money. There was not enough money in the world that could fund every single one of those programs. And a lot of people starved, a lot of people went to sleep without food, and what happened was 96% of the population was living under extreme poverty, less than $2 a day.
Yes, and in that vein, what are your feelings about the manner in which the Trump administration ordered the capture of Nicolas Maduro and his wife?
Well, let me tell you that as Venezuelans, and I've talked to many of them over the last couple of days, we're extremely happy that Nicolas Maduro is arrested. We don't worry as much about the method as the fact that he's arrested now and he's in custody of the United States. And let me tell you, this is the best outcome and scenario for us. We wanted this guy to face justice for the crimes he has committed to the Venezuelan people. Nicolas Maduro is a narco-criminal terrorist that has been indicted by the United States. A Southern District Court of New York was in 2020 indicted him for narco-terrorism charges. But more than the legality, we Venezuelans experienced how he repressed the people in protest, how it was impossible to have a life there, a quality of life, how he absolutely extrajudicially killed thousands of Venezuelans and jailed as many others. He created concentration camps to re-educate people. We're not talking about a good guy here. This was an evil dictator, and we're just happy that he's facing American justice and that we have a chance to see him spend the rest of his life in jail.
And did you yourself, at that time you were there, feel the wrath of his rule?
Absolutely, yeah. I went to protest in 2014, 2017. I was just a kid, but I saw the wrath of his rule. I had to do lines for food, for bread, in 2015 and 2016 for hours. I spent hours after school lining up for bread and for food. Totally, 100%.
And in that vein, can I get your response to what's been said by members of the UN Security Council and many national leaders alluding to the possible breaches of international law when it comes to Maduro's capture and the manner in which it happened?
Well, currently as long as we're analyzing it, I have a piece and op-ed coming out on this today, but the President Trump had the authority under Article 2 of the Constitution of the United States to look for a fugitive in Venezuela that was running away from American law. What as I see it, and as many scholars also see it in the field, Maduro was not a legitimate president. He did not serve from protections, and he did not have the amnesty that we give to world leaders for a reason. He was a usurper that took the power of a country after stealing an election in July of 2024. He stole an election that he lost by almost 70% of the vote in the country, and he took the powers of the presidency and every single institution around the country, even though it wasn't for him. So President Trump acted correctly under Article 2 of the Constitution, and while international law is there, we asked as Venezuelans, where was this international law for 27 years when we got killed, arrested, and persecuted for the way that we thought? And every single one of those international laws got broken too.
Yes, and in that manner, are you comfortable with Trump's language in which he says that the U.S. is now in charge of Venezuela and wants American companies to develop Venezuela's vast oil reserves?
So let's think about it for a second. I think this is base case scenario for Venezuela. We're talking that everything that we have criticized about the U.S. before, they're doing it in a different way. They're not doing a hit and run. They're hoping to stay to try to do a transition, peaceful transition. They're trying to call for either an election or to apply the results of the election in July 2024 with Maria Corina Machado and Mundo Gonzalez. We're talking about billions of dollars worth of economic investment that is going to come from America to rebuild our country. We're talking about the repatriation of millions of Venezuelan migrants around the world. 9 million Venezuelan migrants are around the world, and they're likely to come home. And I think this is best case scenario for Venezuela. We're talking that we're going to go hand in hand with a partner like the United States that has been long trading partner of Venezuela way before Chavez and Maduro. The United States discovered the oil in Venezuela in the 1900s. They were the ones who invested billions of dollars to get it running. We are good friends with the United States, the Venezuelan people, and we want to see it go.
Yes, and
like
again, and I suppose, can you understand why people might be skeptical given the more recent intervention failures by the U.S., namely Iraq and Afghanistan?
Absolutely. But let me tell you, Venezuela is no Iraq or Afghanistan. I like to say that Venezuela is Venezuela. And I think a most comparable scenario is Panama. Everybody should go and look at pictures of Panama. Panama had a U.S. intervention, and Panama looks like Dubai now, and it's in Latin America. Similar with Kuwait. Kuwait also had an American intervention to free it, and Kuwait looks amazing. It's one of the most prosperous countries in the world. Same with Grenada, too. Grenada is another country very close to, the whole issue that is going on, and also had an American intervention, very prosperous country. All of these have had American interventions, and they're really good.
Okay, Santiago Vidal Calvo, really good to get your thoughts there from Texas. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the invitation.